Desiree with theastrologyaddiction.com, and thank you so much for watching. Today's video is going to be on Leo rising and Leo ascendant. So if you have Leo rising, then please keep watching until the end. I'm going to go through all of the 12 houses in astrology just to tell you a little bit more about the life path and, you know, how you might be perceived, your career path, and the types of relationships that you might be in. Please definitely leave your feedback below, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and if you're interested in booking a reading with me, my link is in the description box. So Leo risings are ruled by the sun. So they are people who are outgoing typically. They're people who like attention, they like to be noticed, they like to be seen, complimented, and appreciated. They're usually also very creative and they can have a lot of hobbies that they're interested in. These people can certainly have an aggressive side if they don't get their way. If you think of Leo, you know, as someone who does really crave that attention and that admiration and to be admired as like a king, if they're not getting that from a situation or a person or whatever it is that they're dealing with, they can become quite angry. You know, it's a fire sign, so they can have pretty passionate emotions. And, you know, their first house shows their physical body, it shows their birth, their early childhood, and, you know, the physical health overall. So a lot of times these people can have potentially some like flare-ups in their body in some way. Maybe they get like rashes to things, maybe they're allergic to things, maybe they're more sensitive, just depending on, you know, what else the chart says. This can show more about their actual physical body. They also can have I've seen a lot of Leo risings that have really bright hair, big hair, like red hair. You know, it's lioness in a way. Like they have this way about them that is just kind of grand, and a lot of that does come usually in their hair. Like they'll have a big, beautiful, like long hair, or it's just something that they really like. You know, some people are very attached to their hair to feel beautiful. You see that a lot with Leo risings. Now with Virgo on the second house, our second house is money, finances, material possessions, and things like that. So to have Virgo on the second house, these people can be quite meticulous and particular about their home life and how they keep their house. They are people who usually keep a pretty pristine and, you know, clean house, a home that is just, you know, they might have plants and animals around the house, like cats, dogs, a garden, those types of things. They do find that comforting in the home life. But they can also be quite particular just about their finances and how they deal with those types of things. They might be a little bit more cautious with how they spend money and the things that they commit to, the things they commit their time to. They really have, you know, no problem saying no to something, or, you know, yes to something that benefits them, or no to something that hinders them or is uncomfortable for them. Virgo people, you know, Virgo in the second house, they want what they're doing and the energy that they're putting out to be worth what they're getting back. So whenever it comes to their income and what they're earning, they definitely don't want to be putting in, you know, a lot more work than necessary to get that return back. It can also show in early life, maybe they didn't have as many possessions. Maybe they grew up on the poorer side, or they grew up in service to someone. Maybe their parents, you know, had them doing a lot of chores, had them doing a lot of work. Virgo is definitely a sign of work. So you can see that in the early, you know, childhood life, that they might have had a lot of work from the parents that were, you know, they were required to do. Now Libra on the third house, these people are extremely curious. They can have lots of siblings. Maybe they have a really, maybe they have like a learning style that is advanced. They can be smart, you know, because Libra is an air sign. So it's a quick sign, it's conversational, it likes to socialize, it likes to learn about people. So a lot of times these people do actually like to learn like social studies or counseling, or just work that they can do with like other people, or that they can help other people in some way. Any type of relationship work, like relationship counseling or something like that, is something that they really love to learn about. They may not, you know, just depending on where everything else is in the chart, they may not always know how to like implement that or put that out into the world, but they definitely really enjoy like learning about relationships. Now the fourth house is Scorpio, and you can definitely see the correlation between the fourth and the second house here. They are people who definitely have like a private home life sometimes. They could definitely like to entertain because they have that Sag on the fifth house, but with Scorpio in the fourth house, when it's their private time or when they need to do some self-work, some healing, some like have their alone time, that is very critical for them. And they need to definitely like take advantage of that. They can also potentially have some fighting in the home, some trauma. There can be potential for great transformation through their relationships in the home, whether it's like marriage or just family relationships with people that they actually live with. They can have a lot of like intense emotional relationships with those people. These people can also have like a fascination with the occult, you know, because that is their IC. So it's something that they might have came from, you know, their family lineage, their past, their parents, their history in their ancestry. It can be something that there is like some trauma there, or there are some painful things, and it's maybe not generally like just in their life, but it can be passed through generations. So that can be something that they really enjoy studying, is like generational patterns, trauma, things that have happened to their ancestors or other people's ancestors even. They can just have this fascination with that. Now the fifth house is Sag, so these people definitely, as I mentioned, love to entertain. They can really enjoy having a lot of fun, getting wild, getting crazy, being free, and exploring other people and other cultures, and they can just have a real need for fun, because your fifth house is your fun, your hobbies, your romance. It also has to do with children. So just looking at the fifth house, there can be a level of need for freedom, like in their hobbies and in their daily life. And even with their children, a lot of times you see these people not being people. Sometimes they choose not to have children. Sometimes they have children, but they don't really have like that parental relationship as you would maybe like think about it. And in that way, they might have a more like unconventional, more allowing relationship with their children. Maybe they want their children to study and be very smart and knowledgeable and cultured, and so they take them on vacations and to do things that are a little bit more like things you would do with friends, or things that you would do with just people that you're like closer to, that you're not like parenting. So sometimes they can have like a hard time separating fun and freedom and just having a good time with their children to like the more strict and structured like parental role. Now Capricorn is their sixth house, so these people definitely have a strong, powerful work ethic with their daily life. They may have like a feeling of responsibility. They really probably enjoy keeping a schedule that is very strict and routine, and something that they can have measurable goals. Like these people I could see really loving certain times in their life where they have a very structured work schedule, and where they have to meet these important deadlines for maybe a company. I could see these people being people who do work well in companies, because that Capricorn does show organizations, governments, companies, things like that. So their natural ability in that area of work and daily, how they daily go about their life is pretty conducive to what society and culturally people think work should be. So they have a good work ethic in that way, but they can also kind of want to work for themselves. You see that a lot as well with the Capricorn on the sixth house, because they are CEOs themselves. They are the boss. They are the people who are making the decisions. They don't want to always listen to other people and follow the lead and just do what they're told. They're more wanting to take charge of their day and take charge of their work. So that can be definitely seen here. You can also see that in the 10th house of Taurus, where their MC is, because they definitely like to be seen as responsible people who do what they say they're going to do, people who are loyal. But we'll get to that part once we get to the 10th house. Now their 7th house is Aquarius, so I often see these people not getting married. I will say that. Aquarius on the 7th house shows that they need a lot of freedom, a lot of uniqueness, a lot of intellect and intellectual rapport with people who they're in relationships with, and even in business partnerships with. They don't like people who hold them down, who make them feel restricted in any way or who put them in a box or are controlling. They definitely really run from that, and they really value their independence, and so they don't always find that marriage is right for them, or if they do get married they might decide to, you know, get divorced. They really want to follow their passions, their dreams, and they want to make sure that they don't lose any type of freedom throughout their life. So if they can get with a partner who you know, also likes to live a free and independent life, maybe they can work together, live together in a way that works for them, that they still have their own independent lives, or maybe they, you know, just find a way to make it work where they're not controlling of one another or anything like that. But these people are really just independent people, individuals who have a really unique path and really can't be held back by other people. Now the 8th house is Pisces, so these people are very spiritual. They have an interest in learning about the spiritual arts. Maybe they, you know, as you see in their midheaven and their 6th house being earth signs, those show that they definitely do have a grounded attraction to earthly possessions and to maybe even just money and, you know, working at a corporate environment. But with their 8th house in Pisces, they have this attraction to the spiritual world, to the esoteric arts, even just to art in general. You know, they might want to experiment with doing different types of art. They might want to experiment with drugs, alcohol, things like that, you know, and just be a little bit more limitless and have no boundaries, because Pisces doesn't have boundaries. And when it's in the 8th house like that, the 8th house is sex, death, taxes. So they can kind of blur those lines when it comes to those types of things. You know, they don't always, things aren't black and white in that area, you know, with sex, with drugs, with drinking, all those types of things. They might kind of cross the line sometimes without knowing for sure. Now Aries on the 9th house, this shows that usually when they're younger, they have this really high level of passion and ambition for traveling and for education. They might be someone who, when they're younger, loves to, you know, go and travel the world, go explore different cultures. They have this really high energy for that kind of thing. It can definitely dwindle out when they get a little older and they might want to settle down, because that Aries energy can only be hot and fiery for so long before it kind of starts to you know, diminish a little bit. But they definitely do have a high level of passion and excitement towards that area of life, and especially education. They can be someone who really loves to teach. Maybe they love to learn. They might be someone who always is continuing their education in new areas. They always have to learn something new to keep their attention, because Aries just doesn't hold its attention very long. So they need to have something new and exciting that they can be studying, just to kind of feed that need that they have. Now Taurus on the midheaven, again, this shows that they have a definitely dedicated, responsible, hardworking, you know, level of public image or level in their career. You know, people might see them as someone that they can count on. This person might move a little slower than other people. They might be a little more stubborn to change, which can be frustrating, but they are someone who is, you know, if they say they're going to do something, they're going to do it. If they say they're not going to do something, there's just no way that you can change their mind. And they're really known kind of publicly for that, you know, that way of being. They don't change their minds easily in the public eye. They don't admit that they're wrong in the public eye. This is basically Donald Trump's rising sign. So not someone who is going to admit their wrongdoings publicly at all. But of course, they like to be seen as strong, responsible, resilient, and, you know, sturdy in that way that a Taurus would be seen as. Now the 11th house is Gemini, so these people have a great interest in having lots of friends. You know, they can be someone who really digs into that networking, digs into you know, their community and communication with people. They want to have lots of friends, especially in their younger stage. This is something that they see, having many friends, as being sort of just guides in their life, or that these people can help them learn new things. So they can definitely have many friends, but a lot of times they don't go very deep with those friends. You know, just depending on what their other planets are, They are people who maybe see their friends as just, you know, like they want to say they know this person, like, oh, I've met this person, this celebrity, or this person in society who's really important. And, you know, that's been something that that I can talk about, or that I can use to get me to a new place in life. A lot of times Geminis do use their connections, their contacts, their network to get to new places, or to kind of get what they want in a way. They might also be very active in like groups and organizations. This shows that there's a high level of energy and interest there. So they can definitely really want to like communicate with people in their, maybe in their community, or even just on a larger scale. They want to be a part of an organization or a group. They want to make a difference. These people have a need and a curiosity to be a part of something. Now, Cancer in the 12th house. So 12th house is the unconscious. It can have some pain lying there, some unconscious pain. The 12th house talks about imprisonment. It is really a lot of things that are hidden from us, things that aren't easily seen. So Cancer there can show that they, their emotional side, maybe their feelings are something that they kind of keep hidden. They keep unconscious, where they don't want to go there. They might be people who just don't like to share that much emotionally with everyone. They want to keep a level of privacy. They want to keep their family private. Cancer is all about family, the mother, the family unit. So they can really be very protective of their family and very reliant on their family. They can even be reliant in a way that is like overbearing. They might be like so controlling and protective of their family that they don't want to let anyone in that unit who is not like very extremely vetted and went through the process of like getting into the family. So they're very cautious and particular about who they let in their inner circle. So that is your Leo rising. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're interested in booking a reading with me, my link is in the description box. Have a great day. Bye.